Hello there. So we are now, remember our unit is engineering and technology. This is lesson 2, how do engineers design solutions? And our first exploration is all about researching. It's called Research Matters. So, ears to you. Designing a solution can be tough, depending on the situation. There can be many different steps. One important first step is to learn more about the problem before you start to design a solution. So, if we know what the problem is, but we're really not sure how to address the problem, what we need to do, we don't know much about the actual problem in itself, we need to do some research before we ever start to design a solution. Your challenge is to design a hearing enhancing device to use on a nature walk. Where should you start? You might want to start by learning how different animals use hearing to solve their problems. View each image below and read the captions to explore how some animals use hearing to solve different problems. So we have several pictures down here, and it says study the images to discover more about hearing. This right here is a fox. It is an excellent hunter. It uses its hearing to locate small mammals that burrow deep underground. When the fox figures out where an animal is, it will actually go and dig it up. So it's able to hear deep underground. Our next picture, that's a mule deer. And mule deer are common in the western United States. These animals have large ears that allow them to hear sounds, such as those made by predators, which can pose dangers. So that's a mule deer. So look at his ear in relationship to his head. That's pretty interesting. Woo! He is an interesting little fella. This is called an aye, and they live in Madagascar. I don't know about you, but if I were out at night and I saw this fella staring at me, I probably would have a heart attack and fall over. They can tap on tree bark with their long fingers. Look at those things. Another thing from my nightmares here. Those long, skinny fingers. And they're going to tap on tree bark, and then they're going to use their ears right here. It's kind of dark in this picture. And they're going to listen for moving larvae. When they hear the larvae, they use their fingers to pry them out of the bark and eat them. So those long fingers come in really handy, and those big ears do too. Larva, I don't know if you know what that is, stage of life of a bug. When they move, it's really not very loud, so their hearing has to be impeccable. Next, a wild rabbit. We have these here around our homes. Wild rabbits live in many temperate environments. So temperate means that it's not too hot and it's not too cold. Some are right in the middle, like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. These animals can independently rotate their ears to pick up the softest of sounds. So they can move each ear on its own and rotate it. They don't have to do both at the same time. Rabbits use their hearing to identify possible predators. So let's talk about that. Predators and prey. This guy right here, the only thing he's going to kill is a clover, some grass. He does not eat other animals. So he is prey for larger predators that would come and eat. So he's going to use his ears not to find food, but to listen to harm, things that are going to come and harm him. And our last picture is an elephant. Elephants have huge ears, and because their ears are so big, they can detect sounds that are too low for human ears to hear. So they can hear a whole range of sounds that we cannot even begin to fathom. So we're going to use the images from above to answer the questions below to explain how animals can use hearing to solve problems. So the type of animal that we have, we're going to describe what does an eye's ears look like. Down here, it's blinking over here on the side. The shape of the eye's ear, I'm going to go back and look at it. Click on his picture. It's It's almost kind of like an egg shape. They're very wide. They're pretty long, so they're long, wide, and egg shaped. I can't type. All right, the wild rabbit. Let's look at his. Ooh, they're definitely long. They're not really wide, but they're tall and stick straight up. All right, the mule deer. This fella, if you look at his ears in relationship to the size of his face, his ears are like almost as big as his face, each ear. So his ears are very, very big and stick out on the side of his head. I'm going to put his head. All right. That red fox, let's go back up here. Now, its ears are also big. They're tall. They're kind of funnel shaped. See how they go down into that? So let's type that on there. They're big, tall, funnel shaped. And I'm going to click sample answer. They are all bowl shaped and large in proportion to the animal's heads. I agree with that. Large ears, funnel shape, bigger is large for their head. Funnel shape, large for their head. Funnel shape, he almost scared me to death right then when I clicked on that picture. And they're large in proportion to their head size. This guy too, funnel, it's large in proportion to their head. And this elephant, its ears are very big, and in proportion to its head, it is still very, very big. Okay, how do the ears of these animals differ? How are they the same? How can looking at these animals' ears help you design your hearing enhancing device? So pretty much each of the ears has the same general shape. Looks like a funnel, but the ears are different sizes. Looking at the ear shapes of these animals will help us to decide on the shape of our hearing devices. Okay, that's going to help us. Next, we're going to talk about targeting sounds. As you have just learned, hearing is an important sense for many animals. It helps them to survive in their environments. It helps them find food and avoid predators. So it helps them find prey, and it helps them to stay safe, or even other dangers. Listen to the audio as you watch the videos. Think about the sounds each songbird makes. How could your hearing enhancer help you hear differences between the songs? So this little guy is called the black-capped chickadee. It's a songbird, and it's often found near wooded areas. Its most often heard song is short whistled 2 or 3 note, Phoebe or Phoebe B. So listen very closely. So can you hear the Phoebe or Phoebe bee sounds of this black-capped chickadee? Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and click on the next one. The American robin is a common songbird. It often sings just before daylight. Some describe its song as cheerily, cheer up, cheer up, cheerily, cheer up. So that's what we're listening for. Cheerily, cheer up, cheerily, cheer up. Did you hear it there at the end? Cheerily, cheer up, cheerily, cheer up. It's pretty awesome. Let's go on to the next one. The northern cardinal is often heard near dense, bushy areas. Its song can be described as a quick and lively birdie, birdie, birdie. It signals danger with a loud, short chip. So let's see if we can hear it. Birdie, 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 and chip. I heard a birdie, birdie, birdie in there, and I also heard some really loud, short chips. There were several in a row. All right, here's our last photo. The yellow warbler lives in dense woody areas and swamps. Its song sounds like sweet, 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 I'm so sweet. Sweet, 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 I'm so sweet. So let's see if we can hear that. All right, we're going to listen to that again because I couldn't hardly hear it. Let's see. All right, it was at the very beginning I could hear it. So let's listen again. Sweet, 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 I'm so sweet. I heard it. It's super awesome. So there's some different sounds that these songbirds made. So, how could your hearing enhancer help you hear differences between these songs of the birds? So, wildlife, including songbirds, use sounds to communicate and survive in their environment. So, if we remember looking back at the cardinal, that it does birdie, birdie, birdie just as its song, but when there's danger, it does a loud, short chip. Okay? Think about the similarities and differences between the songs of the North American songbirds that you just read about and answer the question below. What is the same about the bird's song? What is different? What else might you need to help you determine what type of bird you are hearing? Well, each bird's song has different notes, but that some of the patterns and rhythms sound the same. And I'm pretty sure you've probably heard of rhythms and patterns in music and different notes. That's talking about musical notes. And you've probably talked about patterns and rhythms in reading, especially with poetry. That and it says, what else might you need to help you determine what type of birds you are hearing? Maybe, here's just a thought. Using recordings of sounds from different types of birds may help to identify the birds that we are listening to. So probably the more sounds that you had recorded and identified, the easier it would be for you to identify a bird based on its sound. And we are lucky because we have the internet. All right, so that is all we're going to do for today. Tomorrow we're going to do Exploration 2, Past Hearing Helpers. So once you have this done, make sure you click I'm done in the the HMH, and then go back to Google Classroom and click Mark as done. If you have any questions, let me know.